I used to feel this way is, it's not going to come out good. I can't draw, I can't paint, my art's never been good. And so they avoid it. And I'm like, but if you only just would try it one time, and just, in a no pressure situation.
Some of your classes fill up quickly, and we found some classes which were just one day, and you could try it out. If you liked it, do it again. If you didn't like it, you never had to come back. And it turned out that those classes were taught by Megan, and we took a chance on it. It was acrylic, what you guys called, a 2D class, right? Which didn't really understand the distinction there, but now I think we've got it down. And never really, when you think of painting, you think of watercolors, you think of oils, what the heck is even acrylic, didn't really know, but we thought we would take a chance on it. We found that Megan was just a blast in the classroom. Technically, we learned a lot, but probably more than anything else, we didn't walk away with necessarily things that we thought, were masterpieces. We weren't disappointed in that because we didn't expect to, but the experience, the class was 3 hours long, and the experience was just a wonderful time to be doing what we were doing.
Nowadays, there's so much online. It's so overwhelming, and a lot of it's recorded. There's not like that instant feedback that you get from a teacher where it's kind of like similar to like if you're doing a yoga class online versus in person and you're not in the right position and they just say, hey, can I just adjust you slightly? And then you're like, oh, it just all clicks because of that. And then also, I think just with such lack of connection nowadays, it's like when you go to a class, you meet other artists, you get to see what their style is. You get to, sometimes you meet someone that you click with. It's just such a different experience. Just that alone is huge.
I come from family members that have artistic ability, and you always hear that comparison is the thief of joy. When I compare my work to what they do, I'm nowhere near as good as what I think that they are. But every time I take another class, I build upon the skills from the previous class, and now many years later, looking back, I can see that I have grown. My trees still look like blobs, but there is progression that I am seeing in there.
Oh, this is one. Is there any doubt? This was done by me, the woman who does tiny little pencil art in one of Dale's classes. I just loved it, and I have it in my work area because it is so unlike me. And it was one of those things where he gives you just a couple colors and you have to. And I think it's gouache. So. I thought it was the perfect example. I probably should have something I normally do, which is tiny and tight.
Yes, I like the companionship, especially, after, I picked up the drawing, painting after the COVID, right? And then we have been working from home ever since. It's kind of isolated. And so it's nice that the people I was afraid at the beginning, I thought artists are all kind of snobbish. I thought they're snobbish and I don't know how to do it, but that's not the case, and people are supportive and encouraging, and the class or our center just let me get to, I never thought I could do it. I thought, I was just a small scale, just, scratching, and I was able to put my piece on the wall that I was never thought is ever possible. So, yeah, it was a great experience. I made lots of good friends in this isolated time, with us 100% working from home. It was just incredible. for me.
I always liked art. In high school, I always took every art class I could. And in college, I was an art major for 1 year, loved it. And I think I was probably pretty good at it, except I didn't know how I was going to repay my student loans as an artist. So changed my major and stepped away from art for 25 years. And when I got back into it, again, it fed my soul, but I didn't know how much I needed it. And I never made it important enough to carve out time. And I had breast cancer. And I came back here and was taking classes and then had breast cancer. And after I got through that battle, I was ready to come back here, and that's when we had COVID. So when we came out of COVID, then I was about ready to retire. I knew then I absolutely had to have art back in my life. And I wish now, because of how restorative it has been for me, I didn't realize until I stepped back from 42 years in a corporate world, I didn't realize how depleted I was. It took stepping away from it permanently to recognize how wrung out I was and how restorative this place has been for me. I wish I would have recognized it 20 years earlier. I think I could have done a lot to have healed myself emotionally had I been doing art while I was in my corporate career instead of waiting until it was over. But it's like, the frog in the boiling water. You don't realize when you're, being boiled alive how bad it is. But if there's anybody who kind of thinks maybe they might like to do this, do it. If you got a little bit of a flame in you that thinks maybe this is something you need, you probably do, and you should do it.